Good morning, students. Today we are going to discuss about the principles of UV visible spectroscopy. So, in the last class, we have just discussed about the basics of UV visible spectroscopy, Beer-Lambert's law, and all other detailings, electromagnetic radiation, and all. So, today we are going to deal specifically on the principle of UV visible spectroscopy. So UV spectroscopy, as I told earlier, its region is visible region is from 400 to 800 nanometers, and the UV region which extends from 10 nanometer to 400 nanometer. So in total, UV visible region is from 10 nanometer to 800 nanometer. Near UV region is 200 to 400 nanometer, and far UV region is below 200. Mostly, this UV visible spectroscopy or UV spectroscopy is studied under vacuum condition. The common solvent used for preparing sample to be analyzed is either ethyl alcohol or hexane. Usually, we are using ethyl alcohol or hexane because does not have any other functional groups, so it won't be interfere with the compound functional groups or its UV values. Next is electronic transitions. Basically, in organic compounds, there are sigma electrons, pi electrons, and non-bonding electrons. Sigma electrons means these are single bonded compounds. Pi bonds mean double bond compound, and non-bonding means usually lone pair of electrons, which is found in oxygens, nitrogens, etc. So we can see energy. There is a bonding level, anti-bonding level, as well as a non-bonding level. So, bonding sigma bonding to sigma star, that is the antibonding state of sigma orbital, sigma bonding to sigma star, and or antibonding molecular orbital energy is higher. You can see from the figure itself, the distance is maximum. This much distance is there. Then next is sigma to pi star, pi star to sigma star, non-bonding level to sigma star level, non-bond pi bond to pi star level, and n to pi star level. So n to pi star level having the least energy, whereas pi to pi star electronic transitions having higher energy. These are the six possible transition states, electronic transition state, which are sigma to sigma star transition, pi to pi star, n to pi star, n to sigma star, sigma to pi star, and pi to sigma star. Usually, the sigmas to pi star as well as pi to sigma star transition states are not that much relevant. Okay. First comes sigma to sigma star transition. As I told, energy is required for this transition, that is from sigma orbital to antibonding sigma orbital, is requires larger energy for this transaction. Sigma electrons from orbital is excited to its corresponding antibonding molecular orbital sigma star after absorbing the electromagnetic radiation. Examples will be saturated compounds. For example, methanes has CH bond, only one, and that can undergo sigma to sigma star. That's a single bond. And usually, the absorbance will be absorbance maxima. It will be 125 nanometer. Next comes pi to pi star. So pi electrons are exciting towards antibonding pi star orbitals. Or double bond or triple bond usually occur in this type of transitions. For example, alkenes, alkyls, as well as carbonyls. In that, C double bond O is present. Nitriles, aromatic compounds, there are several conjugated or non-conjugated double bonds will be there, etc. That can undergo pi to pi star transition, and it can absorb in the region 172 to 205 nanometers. Next is N to sigma star. N means it's a non-bonding level. Usually oxygen, sulfur, nitrogen, these type of lone pair of electron containing atoms or elements undergo this type of transition along with halogens. These transitions usually request less energy than sigma to sigma star transitions. The number of organic functional groups with N2 sigma star peaks in the UV region is very small, and its range is from 150 to 250 nanometer. Next is N2 pi star transition. In this, an electron from a non-bonding molecular orbital is promoted to its anti-bonding pi star orbital. In this also, both the things will come. For N, lone pair of electron containing atoms will come. For pi, double bonded groups will come. So we can consider the functional groups as C double bond O, C triple bond N, N double bond O, etc. This requires very minimum energy, and it is showing the maximum absorption wavelength of about 300 nanometer. Next is sigma to sigma pi star as well as pi to sigma star. These transitions are very forbidden, that won't be visible, and all are only theoretically possible. That's what I told. These two are not that much relevant. Thus, N to pi to pi star electronic transitions show absorption in the region about 200 nanometer, which is accessible to its UV visible spectrophotometer. UV spectrum is only a few broad of absorption. It is showing a absorption bands usually in the spectrum. Next, what are the terms used in UV visible spectroscopy? First is chromophore. What is chromophore? It's a part of a molecule which is responsible or imparting color to a particular compound. Usually, functional groups containing multiple bonds or double bonds or lone pair of electrons. These are responsible for its imparting color, and it is showing absorptions about 200 nanometer. Mainly, N to pi star transitions as well as pi to pi star transitions are involved in this. Examples: functional groups NO2, N double bond O, C double bond O, C double bond N, C triple bond N, C double bond C, and C double bond S, etc. This point should be remembered for this chromophore concept. Non-conjugated alkenes show an intense absorption below 200 nanometer and are therefore inaccessible to UV spectrophotometer. The absorptions which are below 200 will not be accessible, will not be depicted in the spectrophotometer, because the range is from 200 to 400 nanometers. Non-conjugated carbonyl group compound give an absorption band in the region 200 to 300 nanometers. For example, we can see acetone, which is showing a lambda maximum of 279 nanometer, or if it is coming to a cyclohexane, if it is in the ring, it is coming 291. When a double bonds are conjugated, then lambda maxima will be shifted to higher wavelength. For example, first one, 1,5 hexadiene. It is a non-conjugated compound and is showing lambda max of about only 178, whereas 2,4 hexadiene, which is having a conjugated double bond, it is showing 227 nanometers. Third one, conjugation of a C double bond C and the carbonyl group shift the lambda maxima to larger wavelength. For example, ethylene is only 171, whereas acetone, which when carbonyl group imparting to that particular compound, it's showing 279. Similarly, crotonaldehyde, which is showing a absorption maxima of 290 because it contains both olefinic as well as carbonyl functional groups. Next term is oxochrome. So, functional groups which are attached to a chromophore, which modifies the ability of a chromophore to absorb light or altering the wavelength or intensity of absorption. That means oxochrome by itself it is not imparting any color, but these functional groups or oxochrome type of functional group, when it is attached to a chromophore, its absorption maxima or its intensity or its wavelength will alter. For example, benzene, it is 255. When hydroxyl group OH imparting to its benzene ring, then the lambda max is getting increased to 270. Whereas in place of hydroxyl, if you are replacing with amino group NH2, it is showing a lambda maximum of 280. So we can see a benzene as a chromophore and this aniline NH2 group as well as OH will be a oxochrome groups. Next is absorption and intensity shift. There are four type of absorption shifts are studied: bathochromic, hypsochromic, hyperchromic, and hypochromic. Bathochromic means when absorption maxima is shifting to a higher wavelength, it is known as bathochromic. This is due to the presence of an oxochrome. Oxochrome groups will be OH or CH3. These will causes the compound to shift it to higher wavelength. For example, here nitrophenol we have given. Here in alkaline medium, it is showing redshift because negatively charged oxygen delocalizes more effectively than unshared pair of electrons. Next is hypsochromic. When absorption maxima is shifting to shorter wavelength, it is called hypsochromic shift. This is due to the presence of an group which causes the removal of a conjugation or by the changes of solvent. If compound having a conjugation, it will have a higher wavelength. But in any course, if it is getting removed, conjugation is getting removed, uh, the shift is wavelength is shifting to its lower region. NH2, NH3, NH3Cl. NH2 itself is giving a lambda max of 280. When it is in an acidic medium, it is loses its conjugation and its wavelength is reducing to 265 nanometer. Next is hyperchromic shift, which is related to its intensity. When absorption intensity is increasing, it is called hyperchromic shift. This is also due to the presence of oxochrome. You can see two examples, pyridine and 2-methyl pyridine. Here, pyridine itself showing only 257 nanometer, whereas when a oxochrome group CH3 is introducing, then it is giving a 260 nanometer. Hypochromic means the intensity is getting decreased. So this is called hyperchromic shift. For example, naphthalene, it is showing an absorption maximum of 19,000 when a 2-methyl group, second position, methyl group is introduced and it is giving only 10250 because its intensity is getting reduced. So all these three effects or shifts can be simply explained from this graph itself. You can see wavelength is there, absorbance is there. If wavelength is shifting to higher region, it is called red shift, or if it is shifting to lower region that towards the blue, that is called blue shift. If the intensity is getting reduced, then it is called hyperchromic shift. If it is getting increased, intensity is getting increased, it is called hyperchromic effect. I think in this section we have discussed about the principles, the terms used, particularly this chromophore, oxochrome, as well as bathochromic shift, hypsochromic shift, hyperchromic, and hypochromic. These four things are very important and how to study thoroughly. So thank you so much. We will see you on the next class.